Hey, VA Nation, Jeff Newton here at National VA Loans. The contact us at National VA Loans. It's 855-956-4040. And today, I brought back a special guest, really just a guest host, really just a host, Josh Buffum. Yeah, well, he is special, folks. But as a host, he's becoming more, you're on more often, so you're not as special.
Right.
We'll still call you special. But Josh Buffum, how you doing, man?
I'm good. It's good to be back. And so what are we talking about today? I mean, we're talking about VA cash out.
VA cash out, and we want to talk about this because it's becoming prevalent. It's going to be something in the market that we see a lot of here in the next, I would say, 6-8 months.
Think about how much equity people have gained in the last 5 years. I mean, it's been exponential.
It's hard to even put a real number on because it's been so large. How much? I mean, everyone bought a house 2-3 years ago. They're sitting with $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 worth of
maybe
equity.
even more.
Even more. I mean, I bought my house 2 years ago, and I'm over $100,000 in equity, just an increase in property value.
Yeah.
So,
and people thought they were overpaying for houses during COVID, and the truth was they weren't, because the house prices just kept going up and up and up, double digits every year.
Well, you had a lot of those perfect storms hitting. You had obviously historically low interest rates. I mean, we've never seen them that low, and we not ever seen that low again.
Probably not.
But so you had historically low interest rates, and so everyone was buying. You had a shortage of property on the market, so that does what? Increases prices, right. But that shortage has not changed. No, I mean, we still have a shortage of product on the market.
And there's a couple reasons for that. A big reason is everybody's got a low interest rate that refinanced during that time, and it's hard to move when house prices are so high, and sometimes the interest rate might be prohibitive for what you actually want to do to upgrade. But that does set us up for what we're talking about today, and that is VA cash out. Because if you've got a large equity position, which you probably do if you bought 3-4 years ago, you may have a situation where your credit card debt has been growing and you're getting behind on it. And the interest rate on those credit cards is definitely not something you want to enjoy month to month.
No, absolutely not. And that's something we talk about a lot is, okay, now you have this equity, so what do you do with it? Well, I mean, I just looked at a situation today where the borrower's got great equity in his property, got a good low interest rate, everything's good there, but they have a little over $119,000 worth of credit card debt. So when we started looking at this and really started, and they're at a nice interest rate. They're at 3.25. I did their loan.
So there's no reason to mess with to think about moving because you have a 3.5. But if you had $119,000 in credit card debt, now you've got a real problem on your hands.
And the start of a real problem. And these folks make good money. They're fine there. But what they're noticing is they're just applying more and more and more towards those credit cards, and it's just getting eaten up with interest. So we looked at a solution of taking that credit card debt, taking the equity from their home, and using it to pay off that credit card debt, and it's going to save them over $3,000 a month.
Oh, my gosh.
Keep that in mind, folks, $3,000 a month. Now, there's a lot of things that we could show you where that $3,000 a month, and they're going up 3.5 points on their interest rate. So they're doubling their rate, but they're saving $3,000 a month, and I'm showing them how to apply that money back towards their mortgage, so they have a lower effect.
It actually saved them money in the long run.
Oh, and the amount we did the whole thing. We looked at how much interest you're going to pay throughout the life of the loan currently versus how much you'll pay if you pay back in extra. And it's amazing the difference that they're making.
To that point, a lot of people really don't understand how the actual finance aspect of it works. I mean, sometimes you have to talk to a mortgage professional who can lay it out and really show you what the economical benefit of doing the transaction is.
Well, and when you look at it, there's a real simple way to look at it, obviously. I pay X now, and if I do the refinance, I'm going to pay X, and if X is lower, then obviously I've saved money. That's a good way of looking at it, but there's a little bit more involved. I mean, when we as VA specialists and we take a look at your entire situation, we're looking at everything from how much extra you're spending on interest to how much is going towards interest versus principal, and then showing really how to use those savings, especially when it comes to credit cards and things like that, how to use those savings to put it back into your mortgage and actually pay your house off, in some cases in 10 years versus 30, and to pay it at a lower interest rate. And we're going to get into some of the credit benefits, obviously, in a little bit. But, like you had said, the the revolving debt, the credit card debt, the 17, the 18, the 20. Have you noticed this? And folks, maybe you guys have noticed this also. Credit seems to be tightening just a little bit. Not so much on the mortgage. I mean, we're not seeing it as much on the mortgage side of things, but I'm seeing it on some of these installment loans that are out there that have been available over the last few years. I mean, there's a number of companies that have popped up. You guys know who they are, I'm sure, but have popped up over the last few years that, they'll do installment loans for 40 grand or 50 grand, and they're at 18% and things like that. Those are starting to tighten up a little bit, and we're starting to see that on credit cards as well. People are running up to their limit, and then they're not extending credit any further. So now it's lowered your credit score because your debt to income utilization is so high, and so your credit score goes down, and that affects everything else in your world.
Yeah, trust me, the companies that are extending credit know when you are starting to become a risk, sometimes before you know it. So they may start tightening up what your limits are on your credit cards. They may not let you borrow as much if you had were trying to get a signature loan. Those are some things that you can run into.
Well, they've got those algorithms built in there, and they're like, okay, this person has now gone from a 20% debt utilization to a 70% debt utilization.
Right.
And once they cross that threshold of 80%, then the algorithm starts seeing foreclosures and bankruptcies and things like that.
And you need to talk about the credit impact of that utilization.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, you'll take just this gentleman that I talked to today, he thought his credit score was around that 800 mark, and I'm sure it was. And when I looked at it, where his credit card utilization was, it had dropped his score all the way down to 722.
Oh my gosh!
And guys,
that's a shock for an 800.
Yeah, that's a hit. I mean, It really is, and
still great credit.
Oh yeah, it's still excellent by all standards. But when you're an 800, and now all of a sudden you're 720. It's like, gosh dang, that hurts. But then I looked at it, and by paying off that debt, it took him back over 800.
Well, and the thing is, 800, that's a great number. But for mortgage purposes, we're only interested in 740. Anything above 740, I always say, is just bragging.
Yeah, you're just bragging. Exactly. Exactly. If you got all three scores above 800, then probably teach a class.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, you've done awesome.
You've been in the bureau a while, and you've incurred a lot of debt and paid it off. Yeah. That's what happened.
That's exactly what that means. But the way the credit affects you, obviously, it rolls into everything, whether it's your homeowner's insurance, which I'm sure most of you have noticed your homeowner's insurance is probably going up. Your insurance rates on cars are going up. We're seeing that across the globe. I mean, everyone's rates are going up there. But if your credit score affects that, and if your debt utilization affects your credit score, therefore your debt utilization and how much you have in debt also affects your homeowner's insurance, your car insurance.
It's affecting a lot.
Really, everything you do. I mean, sometimes in order to just get a bank account in some cases. Which
application for employment.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's a big one. Application for employment.
Depending on the job you're in. I mean, we're in finance, so, credit's important, a determination for, who gets hired and who doesn't.
Absolutely it is. And it sometimes can be a little nerve-wracking, especially when you don't know what's in your credit bureau or how to find out. So, we really weren't talking about credit. We kind of brushed over it, but of course, to check if you guys are interested in being able to pull one of your credit scores or being able to pull a free credit report, check us out or give us a call at 855-956-4040, or just check us out online at nationalvaloans.com, and any of our VA specialists will help you get access to a free credit report. Of course, we will always be happy to take a look and see what options you have out there as far as for refinancing and stuff, but the biggest thing we want to stress is don't just let your equity set, okay? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have there, but anyone that lived through 2008, you remember what happened to your equity in 2008?
It dissipated.
Yeah, and it didn't happen slow. It happened fast.
Yeah.
And it was immediate. And I don't think we're in a situation, in fact, I don't believe at all we're in that kind of situation that we were in 2008.
Yeah, inventory is going to keep it high.
Yeah, inventory will keep it high. You're absolutely right. But utilize that equity you have. I mean, especially on the VA loan. The VA loan will allow at least 90% cash out, but in most cases it'll allow up to 100% cash out, 100% utilization of equity, and you can use those funds. I mean, we have people that pay off taxes, pay off credit cards, pay off installment loans, or high interest signature loans. And then we have people that just take, say $50,000 after they paid all that other stuff off. They just take $50,000 and put it in the bank. And I mean, right now, 6-month CDs like ridiculous. So there's ways that you can invest that money. And you guys have heard me and Josh say it. use your home as a financial tool.
Yeah.
I mean, use it as a financial tool.
I mean, I've done a cash out. I'm a veteran. I did 4 years in the Navy, and one of the major benefits of being in the Navy for 4 years was the VA loan.
Mm-hmm.
When you're 22 and you're getting out of the Navy, you're listening to all the benefits. You don't always know what they're talking about, and the VA loan was one of them. I didn't really understand what that benefit meant and how much of a access it gave me to the housing market and what it could do for me once I actually owned a home. But, I was obviously being in the business 27 years, I was very familiar with the VA loan. And I've done 5 of them myself, including this cash out. And the cash out I did it during COVID. It was it was a very low interest rate that I captured. But I used the money for home improvement. I redid my backyard and my deck and all these other things that I did with it. And it was very, very beneficial. And it was a pretty easy process.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a full cash out, and they want to know that you're employed and you're making money and all the things that go into qualifying for a loan. But it was nice. It was easy. There was a limited funding fee, and the whole process was simple.
Well, and you touched on one big thing there, because we talk a lot about cashing out to pay off debt, and which is important, guys. I mean, if you can cash out, pay off debt, and save yourself money, to me, the most important dollar is the dollar I'm spending. So how much am I spending? How much can I keep in my pocket? And that's where this comes in. But one thing you touched on is home improvement, home beautification. If you have equity in your home, I mean, we've talked about the VA renovation loan a number of different times, but if you have equity in your home, you can pull that equity out and use that money to do your own.
Especially if you're staying put.
Yeah,
if you decided, hey, I love this neighborhood, I love this school district, I love my home, I just wish it was a little better here, or I had this, or maybe this addition, or whatever, that money's there.
That money's there, and you can use it for those things. I mean, you don't have to give a detailed list of what you're using your funds for. If you're pulling out funds, it's your equity. If you apply and qualify for the loan, you can use those funds for whatever you want. Now, again, we always suggest if you can pay off some debt and save yourself some money to definitely do it. But home beautification, if you're going to put more money into your property to increase its value, that's a great way to use that money as well.
Yeah, and another way is, education. I mean, we all know education's expensive. Your kids get ready to go to college. I mean, it can be very burdensome for your children to incur a bunch of student debt. And you may be, like I was. I didn't want my kids to have student debt when they got out of college. So I worked really hard to try to figure out a way to get their college paid for. And home equity, especially right now, is a great way to access that ability.
Absolutely, because I don't have kids at that age yet. I'm luckily,
it's coming, buddy.
Oh no, it's coming real quick. 2 more years and it's coming. So, but no, that's a great point to not have that burden on your kids and be able to use equity and things like that. I mean, it's a huge advantage, and I just don't think a lot of people think about their equity as a savings account that they have setting aside. Mainly because you've got to come to us to touch it, and I get that. I understand. So if you can set that money and you can use it for something that's going to not only save you money or increase the equity position in your home, increase the value of your home, or do something for your family or put some reserves behind, and so they're sitting over here so you're safe and ready to go. I mean, I've said it a million times, we have freedom in this country, but the fact of the matter is freedom is knowing that you've got money set aside, that you can live in case all hell breaks loose, or in case you were to lose your job. I mean, something along those lines, or in case an emergency comes up. I mean, it seems like we have emergencies every day anymore. I mean, the good old days of things just being nice and smooth every day I don't feel like we've had those for a while, and you guys may feel like you're in the same boat. Cash out, again, up to 100% cash out, tap in all your equity if you want, use it to pay off debt, to set savings aside, to pay student loan, to do whatever you need to add equity to your house, to do some renovations. Maybe you want to update your kitchen. Maybe you need some new flooring. Maybe, whatever it is. Maybe you need paint. I mean, I drive by neighborhoods now. And I look
new
at
kitchens. Talk about adding value to your home. A modern, renovated kitchen, that is a game changer.
That's huge.
Master bathroom. That's another big one.
Big, real big. Flooring, carpet, paint, all those things. I mean, the flooring, the carpet, or the flooring, the paint, things like that, that's curb appeal value. But the bathroom, the kitchen, the stuff like that you're going to update, that gives that's kind of the meat of it. And that'll give a real increase in equity in your property. So, tell you what, I think that really, I mean, we kind of glossed over a lot of it because there is so much when it comes to it, and it's so much specific just for you. So if you want to know more about your situation and maybe how you can use your equity to help you save some money on a monthly basis and pay off your house sooner, give us a call at 855-956-4040. Check us out online at nationalvaloans.com, or if you're proactive and you just like to get stuff done, check us out at nationalapplynow.com. Fill out the safe, secure mortgage application through Stride Home, and that'll come into one of our VA specialists, and they'll give you a call right away. Yeah. And go through your situation.
And know this, we are very aggressive. When it comes to pricing and fees, we barely ever get beat.
We're
if
aggressive.
At all.
We're aggressive.
So, I like to say we're collecting clients, not fees.
Correct. We want you to become a part of VA Nation. Number one,
100%.
And National VA Loans and Stride Bank. That's how we are aggressively trying to bring you into VA Nation. That's where we want you, because once you do one loan with us, you'll never do a loan with anyone else. You won't have a reason.
Neither will your kids.
Yeah, because now you got a guy. That's one thing that you and I have talked about, or girl, whatever. But that's one thing that I always talk about. People call me all the time. Hey, you got a guy. Hey, you got a guy. Hey, you got. So I'm the guy always for all my friends for their financing.
Right.
But I'm also the guy that's got a guy.
Right.
And I've always said that there's value in that. Have a guy. Someone wants insurance. I got a guy. If someone needs this, I got a guy. And there are people that we vetted over our years and years of doing this that we trust.
We make people look good.
Yeah.
when they give us our name, we make them look good.
We make them look good. So have a guy, and that's where we come in. So here at VA Nation, here at National VA and Stride Bank, we definitely want you to become a part of VA Nation. Again, it's 855-956-4040. Any of our VA specialists will be happy to answer any questions you have. If you just want to run a scenario and get an idea of how much money you can save, that's the number to call. Again, if you want to do the application, I suggest it. It's nice, quick, and easy, and it's right from your phone. Won't take any time at all, and that's just nationalapplynow.com. All right, Josh, anything else before we get out of here?
I got nothing.
Got nothing. All right, we've covered it.
See you next time.
See you next time. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you for everything you've done for our country. Until next time, take care of yourself, and God bless.